Hello everybody. Okay, we're back for session number 3 and we're going to make 3 cards from our one sheet wonder, which is this template. And what we're doing now is this is session 3, so if you haven't done 1 or 2, go back and take a look at my videos for the other 7 cards. We're making 10 cards for this entire session. This is the last 3, and what I'm doing, this card is going to be a top folding note card. So this is 11 by 4¼ scored at 5½, top folding. Okay, now what I did is I used my 6x8 paper pad, and I used this paper, which is this one right here, that one right here. The other side says it's a good day for a good day. Okay, so I used that for my base of my card. Okay, I'm going to use that there. And then we are using cuts K, N, and P. And these are, this one is 1¼ by 4¼ That's going to go in the middle. And then we have 2 at 1¼ by 2¾ and they're going to go top and bottom of them, right? Okay, that's kind of my idea. So that gives us a little focal point. And then what I did is I took this sticker. It's called Scatter Kindness, and I thought that was really pretty. And then I cut a 5-inch, or excuse me, 5/8, or excuse me, yes, 5/8 inch by 3 3/8. Yes, 3 3/8, just to kind of finish it off so it has kind of a 1/4, or excuse me, an 1/8 inch around the sentiment. Very, very close. So that's going to be the middle of my sentiment, and I'm going to put that on the middle of my card right there. Now, you can use your seam binding. I've decided, because I don't have the same seam binding that you might have in your kit, I decided to use some thin ribbon, and this is really cute. It's a kind of an avocado stitched ribbon. I think I got this at Michael's like years ago and I've had it in my stash forever. So I'm going to just use this as my ribbon. I'm going to put and because I have a very short amount of it, I'm going to show you how to stretch your ribbon. So I'm going to put that off to the side. So I have these 2 pieces that are going to go across the middle of each one of my N and P, 1¼ by 2¾ piece of pattern paper. And then I have a couple other pieces left. So what I would normally do, now I'm going to show you a prototype which I did make, and this is I have ribbon. That's exactly the same design that I'm going for this one. And what I did, I actually had ribbon that I could bring all the way around the cardstock, but because we don't have that this time, we're going to make it, and we're going to push it right around this piece here, and I'll show you how to do that without a lot of headache. Because basically we're going to take these pieces and we're going to adhere them to this, to the middle, and then we put them on the cardstock, and then we can pull them around this base piece that goes on our note card. Okay, so we're going to do that now. So this, what I'm going to do here, and you can use art glitter glue, you can use score tape, doesn't matter. I'm going to use score tape. So what I'm going to do is kind of set this like around toward the top, and I'm just going to put my art glitter glue along my ribbon, and then I'm just going to center it. Doesn't have to be perfect, believe me. Does not have to be perfect. In fact, it's better if you don't have it perfect, because that means it's handmade. See? So I just did this, and that's going to sit there, and that's going to dry. Okay? And then I'm going to do my bottom piece. So now I'm not going to put this on my note card, because I'm going to need to put these on my pattern paper piece and then put it around before we get to that, to where we're actually putting it on the note card. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my pattern paper piece, and this is going to go on in the middle. So I'm just going to center it. I use my mat, or I use my Tim Holtz centering rule, just like this, so I can make sure that I get my this piece centered. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to tell you this right now. It doesn't matter. Also, by the way, I did edge my pieces with, or brush my pieces with brushed corduroy. So I'm going to take my K piece, which is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, now we've got our piece, and all I need to do is just bring this over to connect my ribbon. So all I'm going to do is take some score tape, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of score tape and doop, put it right on there, right? Because we have a limited amount of the rest of our little, you can actually do little ties to make them, to give them a little bit of dimension here. And what I mean by that is you tie a knot, it gives it a little dimension, and then we're going to put our little butterflies on top, right? So they kind of look like they're standing up. I took, I did a little bit of fussy cutting of a couple of butterflies from that same paper, which is the other side. See if I can find it. Here we go. Oh, no, it isn't from that. It's actually this from the 6 by 8. This is the other side. It's the blue with the white polka dot. So I just took a couple of butterflies and fussy cut them. I'm going to put one here, and then I'm going to put one here. There we go. And then what I will do is I'm going to take this and put this on inside the card as a thank you, because the outer sentiment is scatter kindness, thank you. It's a thank you card. So I will be doing that, and I will be back with the next card very shortly. Okay, so this is card number 2 in the 3rd series of the May Craftology Box using Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Botanicals. Okay, so as I've been using the One Sheet Wonder, which I cut this pretty butterfly print out of my paper like this. The pieces that we're using, there's 3 pieces that we're using from this cut for this card, and those are I, J, and the alternate side of B. And that's this one, and this one. So I and J were cut diagonally. So what I did is I took a piece of the Simple Basics cardstock, and I'm using the pink, the light pink as my background. My note card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is top folding in a horizontal type card feature. So 5 1/2 horizontally and 4 1/4 vertically. And so it measures 8.5 by 5.5, and you score it 4 1/4, fold it in half. There's your note card. Okay. So we're using that, and then the pink, and I'm just going to use some, this is cut 1/8 inch smaller than my note card, so it is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to use some brush corduroy and ink my edges. Okay. And that's going to go right on top of here. Okay. And then I and J, just going to put my little letters aside, and again, ink the edges of my pattern paper. This gives it a really nice, crisp contrast to your cardstock, to your pattern papers and cardstock. It really stands out, makes it really stand out. Okay, and then, of course, this is B, and I'm going to use the pink script side. And I'm just dressing the edges of that. And then I used a piece of ivory cardstock. This is the artisan cardstock in ivory, and I cut this with an 8/8 inch border. So this is 2 by 4 1/2. We'll check that. So yes, 4 1/2 by 2 inches, and that will sit right on top of that cardstock. Okay, and then I used a 4 by 6 cut apart from your sheets of 4 by 6, and this is 4 inches, so I left that, and then I trimmed it to 5 1/4 so it will fit on the inside. That's going to be the inside of my card. And then I stamped a sentiment. You can use anything you want to. For the front, we are going to use this chipboard element. It says hello, and it's pretty green. I love the green and the pink together. And that is going to go on top of our card, just like this. So I'm going to put the pieces like this. And then my middle sentiment piece, and then I'm going to add some flowers. So again, this says hello, so you can actually leave this blank. It has this nice space to write a little note to someone if you want to use it that way. I just stamped this a little greeting to say hello, and then I can still use the top part of my card to write a little note to a friend. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and adhere that to the inside. Oh goodness, this is a new bottle of glue. Wow, kind of thin, huh? So I'm just gonna wipe it up a little bit. I don't want to put too much moisture on the paper, because it'll start to there we go. Alright, so I'll just be really easy with it. Wow, I didn't realize how thin that was at the beginning. So we're going to put this right on the inside of our card. Woohoo, could have had a calamity there. Alright, and I'm just going to use a towel. I don't have a dry baby wipe, so just use my wipe up towel. Make sure that there's no glue residue all over the place. Okay, woof, yay. Alright, so now I'm going to take this And I'm going to add some art glitter glue on my pattern paper on the top. Okay. And then the diagonal pieces. About an 1/8 inch border on the pink cardstock. Okay. Again, 1/8 inch. There we go. And then we have a strip in the middle, and we're actually just going to cover that up when we add this piece. Okay. And then we're going to add this right on top of our pattern paper pieces. And centered as close as you can get it. Doesn't have to be perfect. I always say eyeball it. It'll be close, right? There we go. Okay, so now we've got this sentiment. We're going to take the backing off the chipboard, and I'm going to put some art glitter glue on here as well, because the adhesive on this stuff and the stickers don't always stay completely over time. I'm going to put my hello right there in the middle. Okay. Press that down nice and firm. Okay, now, last couple things we're going to do. We're going to take, I've got a couple of, these are Wild Orchid Craft flowers, and that's only because I don't have the Prima flowers like the kit had. So I'm just going to take a couple of little light colored pink lilies. They're close enough to the pink on this pretty basics paper. And then I'm going to take a, I think this is one of those curly roses. And I don't know what millimeter it is, but it's about an inch. Yeah, about an inch in width. And then I'm going to take the wick, and I'm going to coil it. So I have these, this is actually a jewelry wire winding tool. So I do some jewelry making as well. But you can use like a stylus or a paintbrush end, anything that's nice and thin. But I'm just going to take my coil, or my end of my rose, and I'm just going to wrap it around this piece. Just pull it off, and then I'm just going to unwind it a little bit, and then bend it, kind of like a vine, because you know how vines grow out of flowers and roses and all that other good stuff. So I'm going to put that kind of over here just to give it a little bit of artsy look. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with these little rosebuds, and these are Wild Orchid Crafts as well. Some just little tiny rosebuds are white with a little bit of pink on the end. This one looks like it's falling apart, so I'm going to have to be really careful with the stem. wind the stem around this, and push it down, pull it out, and then need to hold on to it because it's coming out of the flower. And then just like that. Okay? And then I'm going to put that right under this one. Okay, same here. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, there's the last one. And we want it kind of like, we don't want it to be like perfect. It should be like nature. Nature's not perfect, right? So I'm going to put that one over this way. I think I will wind it this way. There we go. Okay, so put it on the back here. Okay, there we go. Bring this toward the front. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so I'm going to get my hot glue gun and put these on. Just like that. Okay. And bring that vine up this way. There we go. Need to see the O of hello. And then my little lily. Tuck that right under there. Right under the rose. Take this next one, same thing. One side, and we're just going to tuck it right under the rose. There we go. Okay. I'll just hold it for a second. There we go. Okay, now the rose buds. Just going to put a little dot of hot glue right here on the bud itself. There we go. Cute. And then this one, the wire has come out, so I'm going to fix it. I'm just going to put some hot glue, just a little tiny little dab, and then I'm going to stick it right down inside. Not all of it will go inside, but some of it will adhere to the point where it won't come off of the bud. See? There we go. Okay. So now take the bud, put a little hot glue on the bud. Okay. And then we're going to put it right here, kind of tuck it right under. We'll wind this cute little vine just up like that. There we go. Cute, right? Okay. So that's our hello card. And then I'm also going to put a bow on underneath here, like right under on the corner. So I'm going to use my Bow Easy. And yeah, I'm going to use this length, and I'm going to do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 loops. Push it through the middle. Oops. Push it in the middle, and then pull it to the edge, and then slide it under that loop, just like that. Or pull it tight, push it off, and look at there. A cute little 4-loop bow, excuse me. 3, it's actually, yeah, it's 4 loops. And then I'm going to put it right, I'm going to just tuck it right under here. under this flower, and I'm going to cut the tails fairly short because it's hanging off the card to the point where I don't want too much, so I'm just going to cut the tails fairly short. And that was about 30 inches. So let's see. Oops, it's gotten caught on this little vine. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to take my quadruple loop bow. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glitter glue right under that white rose, and then I'm just going to tuck just enough to push. I don't want to burn my fingers, so there we go. Okay, there we go. There it is. Okay, and that's our hello card, and on the inside it says a little greeting to say hello. Okay, now for the third card. This one is going to be very simple, so I'm going to get everything set up here and I'll be right back. Okay, this is the last of the 10 cards we are making from our one sheet wonder, and for this last card we are using this strip of O, which is 1 1/4 by 5 inches, and that was cut from the Simple Stories vintage botanical strip from the 12 by 12 pattern paper that has the butterflies on it. So for this one I am going to use as kind of a banner or border. So I also cut a Simple Basics, and this is an 1/8 inch shorter around the border of our note card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, and then I inked the edges with the brushed corduroy distress ink, and I'm going to use this as my strip, or rather as my base for this note card. So in order to do that, also I'm going to adhere this strip to my Simple Basics cardstock, and then I'm using a 3 by 4 cut apart from the 6 by 8 paper pad, and it says just because, and this is perfect because it has a little bit of the green to go with the blues and the pinks, and I'm going to put this right on here just like that. And then rather than using pre-made flowers, I decided to cut out a few floral elements as my own, and these are from the Graphic 45 dies. It's the large tag and ATC tags, so I used these elements here to create my flowers, and then I also used my stylus and my pad, which I use the Heartfelt Creations, and my pad and my stylus, and then I just shaped my flowers with this, and then I'll probably put some type of center. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'll figure that out when I get toward the end of the card. So this, I'm using some of the green seam binding, and I'm going to adhere it just to this corner edge and create a square knot right here after I get this firmly adhered to this paper. And then I'm going to put my flower arrangement here, and then I will probably put another one, and these are just a couple other pieces that I die cut from my Graphic 45 die, and I will probably put those somewhere around here. Haven't decided yet, but I like to work in odd numbers because you know um, how my designs always have some type of triangle or odd number elements on them because it draws the eye into more of a Z shape to create unity and make sure that you see the entire card for what it is. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to do it in double time, so stay tuned. Okay, so also while I'm putting this card together, I came up with this cute little flower and some little fringe pieces in this, or actually a kind of like a stamen. And then I poked a hole in my die cuts. This is the die cut that I use from Graphic 45. You can do anything that's about an inch and a half or an inch or so, and then just poke a hole in. So what I want to show you how I did this cute little fringe stamen. And so what I did is I'm going to mold my flower first and get some shape to it. So I've got my petals, and I'm just going to roll it around the middle so I get a nice flower cup flower shape. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to this petal, and this I'm just going to put on top of the other one to double it up and make it really dimensional. So I've got two petals here, and I'm just going to put some art glitter glue, one on the middle, and then I'm going to take my other petal and I'm going to stagger it. So this has 5 individual petals on the die cut, so I'm just going to stagger it so it is layered looking. Okay, and then I'm just going to, after I've got that glue in there, I'm just going to push, and that's going to just give us some nice dimension, and I'm going to let that dry. So now while that's drying, I've cut a little piece of about a, oh no, that's not the piece, a little piece of about a ½ inch by about 3/4 of an inch. Here, it's easier to see this way. So a ½ inch by 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to take my scissors. I'm just going to fringe cut. So it doesn't matter. It can be as far down as you like, as long as you don't cut it off, right? So I'm going to cut those fringe pieces. And then I'm left with this. See that? Okay. Now I'm going to take my tweezers and some glue. I'm just going to take my glue and I run it all the way across the edge there. I'm going to take my tweezers. Now your tweezers are going to kind of get gummy, so make sure you clean them off after you're done with it. So I'm going to take my tweezers right there on the edge, and or you can use a quilling tool. I have quilling tools too, and just put it in your tweezers and set it right there, and then squeeze it together so it's nice and tight. It's glued to those ends, and this is what you come out with, a cute little fringe piece. Okay, and even though that's a bit wide, we're going to trim a little bit of that. Okay, And we're going to kind of fold it so it's a little bit more round. So we'll just pinch it. See what I'm doing? Pinching it so it's a little bit more round. And then we'll fray it like this. Isn't that cute? Little stamen. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to take our dried flower. The glue has dried. And we're going to stick a hole right down the middle. And I normally would do this on a mat. This is not my punch mat, so, or my poking mat, so I'm not going to use that. So I'm just going to take my poking tool, big enough to where I get a nice good hole in the middle there. See that? And then I'm going to take my little fringe, and I'm going to push it right through that hole. Oops, maybe I didn't make it big enough. Okay, put that right down in the hole. Oops, gee whiz. First one didn't have a problem with this. I think this is just a little bit longer and thicker. Push it here. No. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my fringe stamens, put it through that hole, and push. There we go. Okay. And then I have my little stamens in the middle of my flower. Right? So when I get ready to glue my flower on, it has just like any other flower that you get from your like Wild Orchid Crafts or Prima or Graphic 45, it'll have the stem in it. And then you just put either glue, or I like to use hot glue because hot glue stays basically forever to paper. And then I'm going to put it right here on my card. And again, as I mentioned before, I like the triangle to give me some cohesive unity. This actually would have been better in a multi-layered color like this one, or something that we have that is because this is so much, there's so much pink here, there's so much green here. This kind of offsets that, so I'm going to probably put that over here on this side and up here. There we go. And I'm going to put my bow, I'm going to put this flower right on my bow, and then we're done. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I am back to share all of the One Sheet Wonder cards. I also want to share with you this cute little handbag I made that holds the cards inside, and then you can give it to a friend or relative as a gift. So what I've done here, and I will probably do some additional finishing work on my bag, because right now you can, my magnets are not covered, so I will probably use some pattern paper to cover those. And then inside the bag, and this is really just a simple bag-in-a-box type container, so I will be sharing a video how to make this, but I'll finish these off. And then I also recommend, highly recommend, using the large magnets. Tammy carries these in the Country Craft Creation store. I just didn't have any, so I had to use 2 of them. Okay, so here are our cards. And what I've done is I've added a few extra details to all the cards after I did the tutorial filming. So most of them have some glitter on parts and pieces of the flowers as well as the butterflies. I also put some, let's see, I think it's here it is, the Nouveau Crystal Glaze on here to make it look kind of like a shiny button. And then this is the inside, and that's card number 1. Okay, card number 2 was this one, Love Life. I think this is, yeah, this card number 2. And again, lots of stickles on my flowers and the butterflies. And the inside for that one is this little 2x2 sentiment. Card number 3, The Good Life. Again, lots of stickles on my flower and butterflies. This is the inside of that one. And then again here, stickles, mostly just on this butterfly here, which I put as a dimensional element on top of my ribbon bow. And then I did some stickles on this flower. And then the inside, I used 3 stickers that have the cute little like banners or tags. So I put that as my sentiment. And then this one, this was this pattern, this particular pattern for this one had a lot of green butterflies. So I put some, I think it's crystal stickles on those, and came out a little bit more of a gold green, really pretty underneath. And then on the inside I just have a 2x2, says best day ever. And card number 6 was this one. Again, lots of stickles on the butterfly. I also used my Nouveau Glaze on this sticker element, the little heart. And the inside, oh happy day. Okay, card number 7. Again, I used some crystal stickles. It really kind of makes it gold. It's really pretty. And then for the inside, thinking of you. And card number 8. This is the Scatter Kindness card. I put some stickles on my butterflies, just on these 2, and this is the inside. Thank you. The Hello number 9 card. Again, these are I just used some Stardust stickles for the outline of my butterflies, and then some on my flowers as well. And there's the inside of that one. And then the last one, number 10, Stardust stickles on all of the flowers as well as the butterflies on the banner portion. And this is the inside of that one. Thank you for you. So those are all of the cards that I made for the One Sheet Wonder. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. This is a great way to use a small amount of pattern paper to make a ton of cards. Even though I used other elements from the kit, such as the Simple Basics pieces, a few of the other pattern papers from the 6x8, and some of the 12x12. It really left me a lot of scraps that I can make other things. So again, I'm going to bring this tutorial to you in the next couple days, and then I also made a layout, and I hope to get a mini made out of this kit because I have so many scraps left even after making 10 cards. So I'm glad you joined me. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.